All right, everybody, welcome into the high noon edition of Pugs and Company. I am Pugs Moran, your host. We do this every day, Monday through Friday, noon till typically around 2 o'clock, sometimes more, sometimes less. Where's my blanket? It's cold in here. My feet gets cold. Here, sorry, I just got to move my blanket down around my feet. All right, here we go. Thank God it's Friday is right, April. Welcome into the room. April is first. She wins the prize. There will be no prize. However, you have bragging rights for the day. I'm a little bit behind, so let me make sure I got everything set up properly before we get into this. May as well give you the spiel, huh? Today, what do we do here on High Noon? Well, what we like to do is we run through all the topics that are trending, anything that is considered a current events topic, anything that people are discussing on any of the social platforms. Anything that on this particular day is being searched for the most on, the Googles, the Bings. Anybody use Bing? I actually use Bing. I use Bing quite a bit because I find that Google is better. It really is. I mean, Google's better. But if you're ever looking for pictures, like if you're looking to make memes or, anything like that, or you're posting on social media and you want a picture to accompany it, I love the Bing pictures better than I love the way Bing search pictures show up more than I like. So that's why I use Bing. But at any rate, we go through all the trends. We look for everything and anything that people are talking about today. And we bring them to you here, and we discuss them. I give you hot takes. Oh, we got hot takes. Oh, we got... Here's what we don't do here. I mean, you're going to get hot takes on, stupid shit. I don't get involved in the politics. We don't get involved in the religion. Closest way that we'll come to discussing politics is that we talk social issues, because I'm sorry, I refuse to believe that all social issues are political. They're not. They're just not. So, we will get into those things when they trend and when they're appropriate for the day. Let's see who we got. Let's build up this room. Hi, Ross. I don't think I've seen Ross for a while. Ross is in the chat room today. I haven't. Here's why. There was something that I was going to ask you about directly recently. Don't ask me what it was. I don't remember what it was, but it was something. And I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe I'd like to hear Ross Rubio's take on that. And there was no take to be had because Ross was just not around. Let's see here. So let's talk about today. Let's get it started. Gotta apologize. Today's show is not probably, I don't know, we'll see how it plays out, but there was a good chance that today's show will not be as long as every other show. I have things to do. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, so we're gonna get through it all, and I'm not gonna give you the short stick on that. But I gotta get out. I gotta get out of here today. I got stuff I gotta do. It's it's the weekend with the boy kind of a thing, and it's a different weekend because I got to pick him up from school. So I got to be there when he gets out of school. Typically I grab him around, 4:35. Today I got to be out there at 3:15. So I got to do shopping before, right? So, so I got a little bit of run, and I got to clean. It's not that my place is a wreck at the moment. It's just that by the time he leaves on Monday morning, it's gonna be bad. So I like to get out ahead of it. I like to make it clean when he shows up so that, the mass destruction that he will, create over the week. He's 12 years, he's a 12-year-old boy. He doesn't do anything with dishes. If he's eating a bowl of cereal, the bowl of cereal here's the worst part of it. If he's eating a bowl of cereal, not only does he not, when he finished, take the bowl of cereal, rinse it out in the sink, and put the bowl, in the washer or whatever, that he doesn't do that. What he also doesn't do, which would be helpful, is finish the bowl of cereal and just leave the bowl of cereal out in plain sight, so that, I don't want to have to do this, but at least I see it and I can pick it up and then I'll just rinse it out. No. He will eat the bowl of cereal. It'll be empty. and he'll look around for a place to stash the empty bowl because he's too lazy to walk the 5 feet into the kitchen to put the bowl. So I'll find a bowl of cereal slid under the table. It'll be slid in the corner of the room. There'll be a pillow on top of it. He's nuts. He's a 12-year-old boy, and he doesn't really give a crap if things are orderly and maintained and clean. So that's what I got to do today. As soon as we finish the show, I got to clean. I got to go shopping for food for the weekend because I don't have anything. Typically, I do that on Thursday. But if you were listening last night to the Pillow Talk show, you know that I didn't go shopping yesterday. Well, yesterday was just a shite day. Yesterday was just an insane, crazy day. There were just one thing after another. It wasn't good. It wasn't fun. What do you mean, Kevin? Are you still with Rachel? Hey, Kevin, I'm going to tell a story about you today. You might want to hang out. I'm going to tell a story about you. It's not going to be, you don't even have to hang out that long. But this is Kevin Barber, who is in the chat room right now. He's got the Superman emoji. He will be the central character in a story that I will tell later today. So look forward to that. Oh, yeah. Well, it's somebody's birthday today. And it concerns your fine work that you did all those years at the video store. So we'll get into that. Yeah. So yesterday was a crazy ass day. You know what? I was gonna say this a little bit later, so that I didn't have to say it again. But I may as well say it at the beginning, and I'll say it at the end. So yesterday, and a lot of people in my DMs, a lot of people sliding into my messages and all that kind of stuff. And if you're on Facebook, if you're a local here in the DFW area on Facebook or on Twitter, or maybe pay attention to the news, you know that there was an incredibly disturbing news story that broke yesterday afternoon about 3:30. I mean, it upended my entire day. I had to spend the next couple hours on the phone chatting with people that I hadn't spoken with in years. And we're all, just trying to figure this out. We're all shaking our heads and what the hell? How is this true? How does somebody like that, who seems one way across the board, how do they actually become, or how is it that they maybe have always been this terrible, demonic, monstrous thing? So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Then I've gotten all your messages. Not something that I'm going to delve into. It's just not. It's just, first of all, it doesn't necessarily meet the criteria of what this show is. We do trending topics, and it's not trending. It sure is trending on local DFW Facebook and among local DFW radio circles, but it's not. It's not a subject that I want to get into. It will just distract me. It'll just ruin my mojo for everything else. However, with that said, last night on the Pillow Talk edition, James and I, we didn't want to go into it either, so we didn't talk about it. But then I had a cocktail, and James left, and don't leave me drinking alone. So if you want to hear, and again, I didn't really give any details, but again, the story is out there. You can go to pugscast.com. That's our YouTube page. That's where all of our shows are. And I think I spent about the final half hour of yesterday's Pillow Talk show just kind of working through it in my head. Again, I didn't get into very many details, but if you know, you know. And if you're interested in hearing my takes on it, there you go. So you can go to last night's Pillow Talk, and you can go to the final half hour, and you can listen to that. And not now, but Pugs, all you're doing is chasing people away because it's like you're teasing them. You're going to see the chat room drop, and they're all going to go and they're going to listen to it. But that's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I want to say about it. It is not something that I want to get into today. So let's get started with today's show, okay? Why don't you want to get into it, Pugs? Because it's confusing. It's disturbing. I don't think I have any thoughts to certainly no thoughts that'll make it better. Certainly no thoughts that uh, that I can truly understand at this point. But again, if you want to hear me attempt ham-fistedly to work my way through it, you can go to last night's Pillow Talk show, and in the last half hour, I do address it, not necessarily by name. I don't go into any details, but I do talk about how the break of that story shook me. Just shake. I was talking to, I mean, I'll give you one example. So my former producer and one of the most talented radio personalities that I have ever just met in my life, Sybil. Her and I were going back and forth on this, and she couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And the entire time we're having this conversation, I looked down at my hand, and my hand was going like this, just like, ah. So there you go. So anyway, that's it. Let's get into what today is. Today is January 21st. It's the 21st day of the year. 344 more days remain until the end of the year. Let's get started with a moment of joy, because I'm telling you, we need us one of them there moment of joys today. Although this is like a moment of joy. Here's what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, Pugs, how is that a moment of joy? You gotta watch the whole thing. If you watch the whole thing, it's obvious why it's a moment of joy. Because no, that's not right. Because although it looks like a really terrible thing, you just got to watch the whole thing. So I think this is in England. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's somewhere else. There's a dude. He's just walking across the street. Here, let's make sure it's sharing. All right. Dude in England walking across the street. I have questions. I'll ask them when this is over. Here you go. Look at him walking across. Oh, here goes a bus. Ow! Ow! And I'm fine. And he walks right into the store. Look at, oh! He's got to have a bit of a rash, though. I bet his arm, this part that's slid on the sidewalk, that's got to be pretty rash. Boop, ba-doo, bow! Holy cow! I can't watch. Okay, first of all, first question. How does that guy get hit flush by a speeding bus and just be able to get up and then walk into the pharmacy or whatever the hell it is that he's walking into? I don't know what. Oh, no. Ugh. Okay, first question. That's a miracle. That is a miracle. That is like being on an airplane where everyone but you dies. No way this guy should have been. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, we're going to keep watching it. No way this guy should have been able to get up and walk away, but he did. And he doesn't even seem to be limping. He doesn't even seem to He doesn't even seem to care. Look at him. Huh, that was weird. All right, dust myself off, and I'm going to go in here. Hi, Bob. I'm here. Is my prescription? Ow! That is... So it's joyous, I suppose. No, I don't suppose it is. It's joyous that he was able to... Ow! God! It's joyous that he survived, that he was able to get up and walk away from this. My other question is, what's going on with this bus? Is this bus stolen? Are there other people on the bus? Can you see? I don't see anybody else on that bus. Is this a stolen bus? Is this like some teenagers out for a joyride? Let's see. Can we see people on the bus? Right here at this moment, this guy, now he notices here's what he did that was smart. He broke in the right direction. See, right now he's turned in the wrong direction. Had he tried to escape in the direction that his face and head is pointing right now, he'd have gone under those wheels. He'd have gone right under those wheels. But somehow, at some point, he gets thrown this way. And as the bus is turning this way, he is tossed clear of the bus. That is a joyous moment. Boom! Right here. Oh my God. He doesn't even appear to have had the wind knocked out of him. If he had the wind, that's a flush hit in the back. All right, so now he's thrown, and he's thrown. Look at right here. Nothing. You'd think maybe a wheel would catch his leg or something. No way. Boom. Thrown completely clear. But is this bus stolen? Is this, look how fast this bus comes around this turn. It's totally that. There you go. I guess I didn't have as many questions as I thought, but holy cow. How about that moment of joy? How about that? How about that? All right, let's talk about some of the things that went on this day. What makes today so cool? I see everybody in the chat room is now disgusting. Disgusting. That is probably the proper way to put it. Disgusting the news of yesterday. Again, you can hear my unfiltered, slightly buzzed thoughts on it if you go to yesterday's Pillow Talk, last night's Pillow Talk, pugscast.com, or just search me on Pugs Moran Show, Pugs and Company, whatever, on YouTube. On this day in 2017, that's right, there wasn't a whole lot of stuff that happened today. There's, not a whole lot of stuff. But in 2017, over 400 cities across America and 160 plus countries worldwide participated in a large-scale women's march. Remember that? The Pussy Hats, where they all came out? That was on this day 5 years ago? Boy, I'll tell you, man, when I was 5 years old, 5 years seemed like forever. Well, because I guess it was. I guess it was forever. 5 years would have been forever if I was 5 years old. But then even like at 15, if you told me, or 16, if you told me at 16, yeah, you'll be 21, you'll be legal, you'll be able to go into bars in 5 years, I'd have been like, there's no way I can make that. But now that I have a kid and now that I'm old and I don't like the passage of time because, the more time passes, the closer I get to my end. 5 years is just bam, bam, bam. 5 years ago was that women's march. It's good Lord. Feels like it was just, if you had asked me yesterday, hey, when was the women's march? And I go, I don't know. Wasn't that last year? Wasn't that like, no, okay. Last year was the January 6th thing. 2 years ago, women's march, something like that. 5 years ago on this day, the Women's March. Also, we like to catalog plane crashes on this show. Why? Because I have a theory that between the year 1945 and the year 2000, there was a plane crash absolutely every day. Every single day of the year, if you look at what happened on this day, you will find a commercial airline disaster. Every day between 1945 and 2000. Why 2000, Pugs? Well, I'll tell you myself. Because in 2000, I like to assume that they got the bugs worked out. It took a good 55 years of commercial airline travel for them to really get it down. To figure out that this particular kind of flange explodes in this temperature at this altitude. To figure out that, no, you can't do this with the engines when the air, you know what I mean? They figured out, they worked all the bugs out of, commercial airline travel after 2000. And then we had all the terrorism stuff, and I don't really count that. So these are all working the bugs out crashes. On this day in 1960, Avianca Flight 671 crashes in Montego Bay, Jamaica, killing all 37 on board. On this day in 1980, Iran Air Flight 291 crashes in the Elborz Mountains while on approach to Melbourne International Airport in Tehran, Iran, killing 128 people. And also on this day in 1985, Galaxy Airlines Flight 203 crashes near Reno Tahoe International Airport, killing 70 people on board. Birthdays. Oh, we got birthdays. Happy birthday, Golden Bear, born on this day in 1940, Jack Nicklaus. Also born on this day in 1942. Let's spend a little moment on this guy. This is, I love this guy. Is he still alive? Oh, man. He died last year. No, he died 2 years ago. It's 2022, Pugs. He died 2 years ago. Mac Davis. Remember Mac Davis? I remember Mac Davis. Hey, Pugs, what did Mac Davis do to become famous? I don't know. He was good looking, I guess. He could sing a little bit. He could act a little bit. Mac Davis was a dude who got famous, hugely famous in the 70s. He was everywhere in the 70s. If you had a TV variety show, please welcome Mac Davis. It was all about Mac Davis. I thought he was cool. Mac Davis was a cool guy. To me, I was like a little kid. I'm like, that guy's cool. I don't know what he does. I don't know why he's famous. He seems to do a little bit of everything sort of okay. I don't know why he's famous. Mac Davis was born on this day in 1942. He's also, I have a vivid memory of Mac Davis. And it was like, I had to have been 7 years old, 8 years old. And he had a variety show, the Mac Davis show. Everybody had a variety show. My mom had a variety show for a couple of summers. Everybody was given a variety show back in the 1970s. Mac Davis had one. And I remember watching it because we had 3 channels. And honestly, you know, Shield. Hey, when does Shields and Yarnell come on? Pugs, who are Shields and Yarnell? There are a couple of mimes who had a variety show. Mimes, you say? Mimes. But Mac Davis had one as well. And I remember he came out and he was singing the Elton John song, "The Bitch Is Back." You know, what a bitch, what a bitch, what a bitch is back. You know, that song. So he's out there and he's in his like 70s wide collar suit, and, you know, and he's got the big giant lights behind him spelling out Mac on the stage. He's like, I know bitch, I know bitch. And there's all these girls, you know, they're dancing. I'm 7, 8 years old and I'm watching them. And Mac Davis is singing, oh, well, the witch, well, the witch, well, the witch is back. And I'm like, that's not how the song goes. Hi, that was Young Pug's introduction to network censorship. And now I'll tell you, all the girls behind him were dressed like witches. It was crazy, the 70s. Couldn't say bitch on the air back when Mac Davis was doing it. Yeah, so they changed it to witch. Sort of the same meaning, I suppose. So happy birthday, Mac Davis. So sad you're gone. Born on this day in 1950, Billy Ocean, Trinidadian Caribbean Queen. You know that guy. He was born on this day in 1950. A couple weeks back, James Parker hipped me to the idea that there were alternate versions of Caribbean Queen around the globe. Like, I guess just for us in North America, it was Caribbean Queen, but then there was like a version African Queen, and then there was like a Iranian Queen. Like, there were all of these different versions that you could find on YouTube. So we were listening to those. Happy birthday, Billy Ocean, you one-hit wonder guy. That's kind of a jam. That is kind of a jam now that I got it in my head. Caribbean Queen. Now we're sharing the same dream. And he was wearing like a lounge suit, and he's Billy Ocean. Never did anything else. But let's see here. Who else is having a birthday today? Paul Allen. Paul Allen, billionaire, American businessman, philanthropist, co-founder of Microsoft, born on this day in 1953. Happy birthday, rich guy. What do you get Paul Allen? I don't know. A fallen Balkan republic. I don't know. What honestly, what do you get a guy like Paul Allen for his birthday? Okay, so here we go. This is the Kevin Barber portion of our show. Born on this day in 1956, American actor, director, 1970s icon, Robbie Benson. Kevin Barber knows where I'm going with this. So Robbie Benson, I always say that, and I've had this experience a couple of times, but this was the first time I ever experienced this as a young man. Robbie Benson, you know, one-on-one, ice castles. He was a big star in the 70s and early 80s. And I think for a younger generation, he became known as the Beast in the Beauty and the Beast franchise. He voiced it. And then he's the television director. I mean, the dude, you pull up his Wikipedia page, Robbie Benson has worked consistently his entire life. I mean, it's not like he just went away. He just went and did other things and has had, you know, pretty solid success. I'd kill for Robbie Benson's career. So, Robbie Benson's sister was hot. Was she? I don't know. Who was her sister? Who was his sister? I don't know. So for some weird reason, and, you know, I'll explain in a minute, but Robbie Benson, the Hollywood 1970s pinup icon, for some reason, he moved to our sleepy suburban town outside Chicago on this. That wasn't Robbie Benson's sister. Barbie Benson is, and first of all, it's Barbie Benton. He's being silly. He's being silly. It's Barbie Benton, not Barbie Benson. Although I appreciate where you're going with that, Jeff. For some reason, Robbie Benson lived in our hometown, and you used to see him around. First of all, there's a number of these weird ones in the hometown where I grew up. We have Dennis DeYoung from Styx. who, you might see at the 7-Eleven. A number of like Hall of Fame baseball players just walk. Carlton Fisk won. Bo Jackson. You can see Bo Jackson just, at the stoplight on his motorcycle. Crazy. Anyway, and it's not like I grew up in the area I live in now. Highland Park. Woo, look at this. No, it's just a normal sleepy suburb. But the experience that I had with Robbie Benson was I was in the Jewel. A Jewel is a food store. It's like a Kroger. And I always say, if you ran into Tom Hanks, let's say you ran into Prince, because I think this is how the conversation started years ago. A friend of mine said he saw Prince at the mall. I'm like, you didn't see Prince at the mall. You saw someone who looked like Prince, but it wasn't Prince. It wasn't Prince at the mall. And I have long had this belief that if you're just randomly out there in the world in some normal everyday place that you go, like the 7-Eleven, and you see somebody that looks like Tom Hanks, right? Our minds don't go to, holy crap, that's Tom Hanks. Our minds go to, holy crap, that dude looks just like Tom Hanks. And then it goes from there. It goes from, wait, is that Tom Hanks? Wait, I got to get behind him in line. I got to hear what he sounds like. Is that Tom? So mostly when you think you see a celebrity out, it's not. It's just somebody who looks like him. I was at the Jewel and I saw a dude that looked just like Robbie Benson. and I'm like, is that Robbie? So I'm following him around. Dude, it was still the 80s, okay? He was still relevant. He was still somebody that you would know. He was still recognizable. He had that breathy voice. And he was in the produce section with his wife, and we'll talk about her in a second. He was with his wife, and I rolled up, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? He's like, hi, how are you? And I go, you're Robbie Benson. And he's like, yeah, I am. Nice to meet you. And he shook my hand and he was nice and all of that. So that started it off. The rumors that, holy crap, Robbie Benson lives in our town. Robbie Benson is at the Jewel. Robbie Benson is at the video store where my pal Kevin Barber worked, who's in the chat room right now. Kevin Barber used to mess with Robbie Benson when Robbie Benson would come in, and this was days before computers. So you had these files and you had to look up when people would walk in and maybe they didn't have their card or something. You would have to take their ID and then look them up. And I guess Robbie Benson rarely brought his video card. I don't know. Kevin in the chat room could probably explain this more, but Kevin would never waste an opportunity to go, what's your name? Robbie Benson. Wait, what? I didn't hear you. Robbie Benson. Robbie Benson? Your name is Robbie Benson. And then he'd go to the file. Robbie Benson. Hey, I can't find a file for Robbie Benson. This guy's trying to be low key. It's just, we have a member named Robbie Benson. Could you keep it down? Could you just a little bit? Hold on, Mr. Benton. No, it's Benson. It's Benson. Oh, okay. Hold on, Robbie. So that was a little bit of fun. So happy birthday, Robbie Benson. Why is this is some weird symmetry today? Why did he live in our hometown? Well, he lived in our town because he married Carla DeVito. Carla DeVito is a singer and an actress in her own right. And Carla DeVito grew up in our town, Mokina, which is like the next town over. Lincoln Way Knights, she grew up and spent all of her time there. And Robbie Benson married her in 1982. And according to Wikipedia, they're still together. So, good. Nice job, Robbie. Why is there symmetry here? Because Carla DeVito. Oh, it's also Gina Davis and Jam Master Jay's birthday. Yeah, Jam Master Jay died on DMC. He was killed in 2002, got killed in his recording studio. And Gina Davis, the actress, who was huge at one time, who seems to have disappeared off the face of the earth. But Gina Davis, happy birthday. Gina Davis has like a ridiculous IQ. Gina Davis has got like an IQ higher than Einstein. I'm not kidding. You Google it. Google Gina Davis IQ. It'll tell you like all these crazy things. So back to Robbie Benson and Carla DeVito. So Carla DeVito grew up in our hometown. Why is there symmetry there? Well, because Robbie Benson married her and they decided to move out of Hollywood and move back to their hometown on the south side of Chicago. Carla DeVito is the girl in the Meatloaf Paradise from the Dashboard Lights video and song. She was like Meatloaf's primary background singer. Like whenever he needed a female voice to sing with him, that was Carla DeVito. And that's who Robbie Benson married. So it all comes full circle because as we get into the trending topics, Meatloaf, 74-year-old singer of I had to do a little bit of research on Meatloaf because, to my mind's eye, he was just a dude that had a couple of hits, right? He had like a flare up with Bad Out of Hell in the late 70s. A couple of hits, number of hits off that album. And then there was like a decade and a half of nothing from Meatloaf where he started doing like small acting roles and he appeared in a bunch of films and all that. And then he had a comeback, right, in 1992. And it was even bigger than his first album. So basically, when you look at the career of Meatloaf, it's like the dude's got 2 albums, but he has sold as many records off those 2 albums as like the Foo Fighters have sold in their entire career. He's got 2 of the biggest selling albums of all time. Excuse me. And he's dead. 74 years old. There seems to be some debate as to how he passed away. Most of the news services are saying that his cause of death is undisclosed. TMZ is out front of it, saying that TMZ is saying some, they're leaning into it. TMZ, COVID denier, he died of COVID, blah blah blah. Unvaxxed, unmasked, whatever. But they're the only ones saying that. So we need to wait and we need to see. So we don't know. We don't know yet. We will see. I got a Meatloaf story. I played softball against Meatloaf once. Well, part of his deal with his touring band was that he would come from city to city and he would challenge a local radio show. Typically, he'd go after like the #1 morning show in the market because, he's looking for as much exposure as possible. And he would challenge him. He would do a radio interview with the host or he'd come in studio or whatever. And he'd challenge the local radio station. He'd say, I'll play you in softball. Because here's the thing. Gosh, I'm sorry. Let me get a drink. So Meatloaf, he challenged our morning show to a softball game. And, we were like, all right, we'll play Meatloaf. And it was a big event. It was, it seemed like there's no way these theater geeks are going to be, we have some athletes and we got to fill out 9 positions, on the field here. All right, so we'll call in some favors with some of the regulars. So we padded our team with a bunch of pro athletes. And Steve Lyons, who's now a Fox baseball broadcaster, with Chris Chelios, who's an NHL superstar. A number of, I don't remember who else was there. We had a Bear. I think Kevin Butler, kicker for the Bears, was on our team. I'm trying to think of his name. Anyway, we thought there was no way we could lose. What we didn't know is that Meatloaf had stocked his road crew, because Meatloaf was a softball enthusiast. He had stocked his road crew with nothing but failed professional baseball players. So the guys that carried Meatloaf's amps, spent 6 years in the Yankee organization or whatever, and they killed us. They absolutely destroyed us. We thought we were putting together a team of ringers because we had all of these, retired pro athletes, and we were gonna show him. I mean, it was like 30-2. It was insane. Their defense was unstoppable. Guys were running and making diving catches. Guys were making laser beam throws with a 16-inch softball from the warning track. It was crazy. We were all sitting there in the dugout going, "What the hell is happening? How did they just hit 8 home runs in a row? What the hell is going on?" And it was also when I realized that just because you're a professional athlete in one sport doesn't mean that you're necessarily good at all sports. Until that point, I figured a jock is a jock. A guy who's a jock is going to be able to hit a softball. Yeah, that wasn't the case. Chris Chelios, is he in a Hall of Fame? He should be. He probably is on his way anyway. NHL superstar for the Detroit Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks. Now he's very visible on NHL national hockey broadcasts. Also a horse racing. No, is that Eddie Olczyk or is that Chris? I don't know. Whatever. Chelios, great guy. Sucked at softball. Absolutely sucked. We had Chelios at the hot corner. He's playing third base for us. And I thought, okay, that's a lockdown position for us because that dude, no, no, it wasn't. I mean, he was okay, but it wasn't like the superstar that we thought we were getting. We thought we were getting a pro athlete. So Meatloaf kicked the crap out of us. That's my Meatloaf memory. He's dead, 74 years old, died today. Dallas kid. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that until today. Thomas Jefferson High School, University of North Texas. And so there you go. As they say, the cause of death with Meatloaf is developing. ... Hold on, I got to re-angle my thing here because I can't really see it. Yeah, Doug says Meatloaf was in like 60 movies. His Wikipedia page says 50 plus. So yeah, well, we'll go with you. You're right. Let's say 60. All right. So not a whole lot to say about Meatloaf. Wasn't a big fan. Appreciated it. I mean, if you were, Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, you hear that everywhere, whether you're at a wedding, whether you're in a bar. But I always thought it was a little bit much. It was like, to me, Meatloaf was, the theater kids are pretending to be rock and rollers. Now, it was very much like that. It was very, I don't like the musical thing. I don't like, and there was a whole lot of like musical theater in the whole Meatloaf presentation. Seemed like a very nice man though. Seemed that my limited interactions with him 30 years ago seemed like a fairly decent guy. Great voice. Didn't write it. I mean, look, last year, Jim Steinman died. Jim Steinman was Meatloaf's partner in all of those massive hits, I would do anything for love, 'cause 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's a good song. I like that song. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I want you. That's a good song. That is a standalone on its own. That's a good song. But everything else was a little bit over the top and smaltzy for my tastes. I don't know. Maybe today after I pick up my kid, maybe we'll do the Spotify. Maybe we'll delve into a little Meatloaf. Maybe I'll give it a second listen. Maybe I'll see if his biggest hits no longer make me cringe as they once did. But okay, so Meatloaf is gone. Here's one that's really sad for me. Louis Anderson is also gone. What the hell is going on, man? What the hell is happening? People are just dropping left and right. This celebrity death trilogy, I believe, is Yvette Mimieux, the beautiful, sexy 60s and 50s actress. She died the other day. So we got Yvette Mimieux, we've got Meatloaf, and we got Louis Anderson. Come on, man. Really, God? You're going to take Louis Anderson from us? Why? What's the whole point there? Louis Anderson died of cancer. It was just revealed a few days ago that he had cancer. And I remember seeing it trend. A lot of people were like, prayers for, Louis Anderson. He's in the fight of his life, blah, blah, blah. Louis Anderson was a comedian. He was an author of children's books. He was a television personality of a whole bunch of different ways. Remember when Louis Anderson hosted Family Feud? I thought he was great on Family Feud. Back like in the late 90s, he was one of the guys, when they rebooted Family Feud for the first time, and it's been rebooted a number of times. Louis Anderson was the first host. There was my tastes in stand-up comedy tend to run towards the provocative. They tend to run a little bit dark. I like dark humor. I think the stand-up comedy stage is the only place where you're allowed to really explore dark content and have it not be taken seriously because it's comedy. This is not maybe the day and age to have that philosophy on comedy, but whatever. Louis Anderson was not dark. Louis Anderson was just a tremendous stand-up comic. His jokes were clean. His jokes were, for the most part, family friendly. He had a presence on stage, big, giant, round guy, big gap tooth smile. He seemed so incredibly non-threatening that, everybody in the family could like Louis Anderson. And it's just really sad. I want to show you something. I almost did this as our moment of joy. Louis Anderson, I believe his greatest role was one of his last. If you're familiar with the FX Zach Galifianakis series, what's it called? It's called Baskets. That's right. Baskets was a very bizarre series on FX that ran for a couple of seasons. Very funny, very much in tune with Zach Galifianakis's comedy vibe, and he played a clown. He played a failed clown who had gone to clown school, and he dreams of being this fantastic world-class clown like an Emmett Kelly or Bozo, I don't know, but it just didn't work out for him, and he was like a loser rodeo clown, and he had to move home from Europe where he studied clowning school, and he started hanging out with his mom. Louis Anderson played Zach Galifianakis's mom. He won like 3 Emmy Awards in a row for this role. Here it is. Let's just watch a little bit of Louis Anderson as Zach Galifianakis's mom in the FX series Baskets. He was so funny in this role.
Entertainment that does things in a different take on clowning.
Not even with Ringling Brothers. Rodeo. Went to Europe to go to school. To be a clown.
In France.
In Europe. It's in Europe.
No, I know, but some people don't know.
Oh. Ooh. That hit the spot.
What do you mean, Bugs? That's not that funny. Oh, shut up. That's funny. That portrayal is hysterical. And there's God, that was such a funny show. That is such a fringe situation comedy that is so bizarre and so weird. Louis Anderson died today, 68. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have the age on him there, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, he wasn't 70. He was like 68, 69, something like that. Man, a lot of people have been dying, huh? A lot of people checking out. Has not been a good, let's say, month for beloved celebrities. Also trending today as we run through the rest of today's trends, Netflix is trending today. Why? Because apparently the next Netflix stock is tanking. Get out of Netflix. Netflix announced to their shareholders, they made an admission that their subscriptions are down over 20% over the last year. They say this is due in part to unexpected bumps during the initial period of COVID, and the introduction of a bunch of other streaming services. The popularity of HBO Max. HBO Max came out of nowhere. It was just something that people were like, I didn't want HBO when it was just on my cable. No, HBO Max is different than HBO Max. It gives you everything that HBO has, but it also gives you some original stuff. What happened with Netflix was there was an unrealistic rise in their stock price during the first 6 months of the COVID pandemic because everybody was at home and people were looking for things to watch. And maybe people who were busy, maybe people who were during, when we weren't all, stuck in our houses, they were doing things. They didn't watch as much television. Everybody signed up for Netflix. I mean, if you didn't have Netflix before the pandemic, you signed up for it within the first couple of weeks. So it was an unrealistic bump. It was, boop, 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 and their stock price shot up. But then there's only so many people who are going to buy Netflix. So, of course, after you have that big, huge bump, there's got to be a cratering. There's got to be some sort of fall. And that's what Netflix has experienced in the last year. Their subscription growth has cratered. because there was an unrealistic rise during the start. I mean, you can't expect that to keep. There's only so many people who are going to subscribe to Netflix. I mean, first of all, there's a bit of a flaw in the system there because, like, I gotta say, 2 in 10 people who watch Netflix don't actually have Netflix. They're just using their mom's Netflix account or they're using their friend's Netflix. I mean, which is fine. I mean, Netflix is still one of the biggest entertainment companies in the world, and it really is. Bigger than all the movie studios, bigger than all of that. But the production, Netflix Productions is now, I want to say it's the largest. I think Amazon Production is coming behind them, but currently the largest production of original content studio is Netflix Studios. And, they're down. So the stock price is down 20% after earnings show slow growth. So that's why Netflix is trending. Boston Calling is trending. It is the time of year where all of the big summer concert festivals get announced. Give you plenty of time to buy tickets for the concert. I'd never heard of this one. Apparently, this is the 10th or 11th year. The 11th year of something called Boston Calling. And I'm not down with the lineups for Coachella or Bonnaroo. I like the variety in the multiple days and the multiple stages and just the size of Lollapalooza, because even if there's a whole bunch of stuff that you don't want to see, there's going to be stuff that they mix it up nicely. Better than Coachella. But Coachella seems to just be going after one crowd. And that's fine. I don't want to go spend a weekend in the desert listening to a DJ, because that's basically what Coachella is. A bunch of DJs. We won't get into that. Boston Calling, however, this is I would travel for this, man. This is a cool-ass lineup. Metallica, Foo Fighters, and The Strokes will headline Boston Calling 2022. The full Boston Calling 2022 lineup is out, and festival organizers have found some hard rock and headliners to replace Rage Against the Machine and Red Hot Chili Peppers. I don't know. I guess maybe they were initially supposed to be the headliners, and they dropped out for whatever reason. I don't know. Foo Fighters, The Strokes, and Metallica will headline this year's festival, which will be held at the Harvard Athletic Complex the weekend of May 27th, Memorial Day weekend, May 27th through the 29th. In total, fans will be able to enjoy a lineup of more than 50 performers, including the largest collection of regional artists ever assembled at Boston Calling. So here are some of the other bands. It ain't just Foo Fighters, Strokes, and Metallica. There's a lot of cool bands to see and performers. Top billed performers include alt rockers Weezer. I totally see Weezer. Rock band Haim. I like Haim. By the way, the one of the girls from Haim is in that Licorice Pizza movie. I still haven't seen Licorice Pizza. Hip-hop duo Run the Jewels, indie rock group Glass Animals, Aussie prog rockers King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. It's in the running for coolest band name ever. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I don't know who they are, but I'll see them. It will also include Avril Lavigne, psychedelic soul band The Black Pumas, rock and roll Hall of Famers Cheap Trick, Connecticut jam band Goose, hip hop duo Earth Gang, and Modest Mouse. That's a pretty good. I mean, and there's that's only what 10, 15, whatever of the 50 bands. So I'd be interested in seeing the rest of that. But I'll tell you, that's good for me, man. That's I would love to see Foo Fighters. I've seen Foo Fighters. I'd love to see the Strokes. Never saw them. I've seen Metallica, but still, what a great show that would be. Weezer, I've seen a number of times. Love Weezer. Would love to see Haim. Run to Jewels would be fun. Don't know about Glass Animals. Would be first in line for King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Want to see them. Avril Lavigne, never seen her, but hey, I'll stand there and listen to Avril Lavigne. She's got some stroke in the biz. Black Pumas, not sure who they are. And of course, Cheap Trick. Love Cheap Trick. I've seen Cheap Trick. You can't grow up where I grew up and not see Cheap Trick everywhere all the time. Cheap Trick played my friend's 10th birthday party. No, they didn't. But, that's like how omnipresent Cheap Trick was where I was growing up. And Modest Mouse. They got like one song from like a decade ago. Might be worth waiting through an entire 30-minute set to get to that one song. And then you'd be like, yeah, man, this is a jet. You don't know anything else, but it's like, well, I don't know anything else. I mean, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm a middle-aged white guy. I haven't exactly been up on popular music in a long time. All right. Schwartz, did we see the Strokes? I don't think so. I don't think I saw the Strokes with you because I saw the Strokes in Chicago, and I don't remember you coming to Chicago. I don't think we saw the Strokes. And if you and I did see the Strokes together, Schwartz, then apparently you were off your game. Because did we really? Okay. Oh my God, that is starting to come back now. That is okay. So I've seen the Strokes a couple of times. I'll see them again. You can't stop me. You people don't own me. Let's see what else is trending here. This is a fun one. Christmas Story 2. Okay, I kind of like this. I like this story. I love Christmas Story. Ralphie and it's fragile. Must be French. The leg. Remember, it's an important award. Great movie. Shocked that Christmas Story hasn't been remade, or shocked that they didn't decide to make like 50 sequels in the 40 years since that movie came out. But here we are in the year 2022, and they've announced that there is a Christmas Story sequel. HBO Max, it's a movie. HBO Max is putting it together. And guess what? It stars Ralphie, Peter Billingsley, who played Ralphie in the original Christmas Story. Well, Ralphie's all grown up. And, I was thinking, how are they going to do this? Because it obviously can't be set in modern days because Peter Billingsley is not in his late 70s. And if you go by 80s, really, wasn't Christmas Story set in the 1950s and he was already like 10 years old? So if he's all grown up, premise is Ralphie returns home with kids of his own and he tries to find the perfect Christmas present for one of his kids. Something like that. So that's basically the premise of it. And Pugs, that sounds, that doesn't exactly, you're not selling it too well. It's Christmas Story. Come on. It's if you love the first movie, you're going to sit through 90 minutes of the second movie just for consistency's sake. But it turns out it's going to be set in the 1970s. So that's another interesting thing. Christmas Story sequel set at HBO Max. Original star Peter Billingsley to return. Peter Billingsley, that guy's still alive? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You did what? Just because Peter Billingsley isn't an actor in the last 4 decades, you think that like he just crawled under a rock and went away? No, man. This dude, is it Ben Affleck? I think it's Ben Affleck. He is partners with some, and has been for decades, with some big Hollywood actor. I think it's Ben Affleck. And he's been producing movies and TV shows. He's very successful behind the camera, but very successful with, I want to say it's, I don't know. You know what? One of you guys in the chat room, you'll know who it is that he's working with. But Adam says it's his current age. Shouldn't it be set in the 90s or the 2000s? Oh man, Adam, you gotta make me do math. I don't know. Just research it on your own. Just go to the Christmas Story Wikipedia page and then check back in. You tell me. But I have to imagine that the producers and the writers of the sequel, they already did the math for us. So Christmas may have just passed us by, but HBO is already back in the holiday mood. The production studio has recruited the then child lead from 1983's A Christmas Story, Peter Billingsley, Ralphie, for a sequel to the Noel classic. This time out, he'll be old enough to handle a Red Ryder BB gun rifle without shooting his eye out. For A Christmas Story, for the sequel, Billingsley will reprise his role as Ralphie, though he may go by Ralph now, an adult who's returning home with his kids of his own for the holidays. The original film followed young Ralphie and his pursuit of the famous Red Ryder BB gun in 1940. Was it 1940? Was Christmas Story set in 1940? There didn't seem to be the specter of Nazism or World War hanging over that film. I always assumed it was in the 50s. That says here the original was in 1940. And A Christmas Story Christmas picks up in the 1970s as Father Ralphie hopes to deliver on a good Christmas gift for his kids. HBO is hoping to recreate the same real-life tone of the first movie. They won't. To show the now father reconnect with his childhood friends. Flick. We're going to see Flick. Didn't Flick, Flick, the guy who stuck his tongue to the pole. Didn't the actor who played Flick become a porn star? I don't know. It seems like I have that bit of trivia in my head. I don't know. So you'll see Ralphie trying to reconnect with his old childhood friends, reconcile the passing of his old man, and callbacks to the initial film. So it looks like we can hopefully expect more familiar faces and maybe even some the adult version of Ralphie's whiny younger brother, Randy, originally played by Ian Petrella. The feature is intended for HBO Max and will be directed by Clay Cadis. Clay Cadis. Oh, they got Clay Cadis. I don't even know who Clay Cadis is. Okay, so there you go. That's why Christmas Story 2 is trending. Let's see what else. This is a good one. We won't spend a lot of time on this one. Dick Butkus is trending. Why is Dick Butkus trending? Because me and a whole bunch of other people have been outraged by Twitter's refusal to grant the greatest linebacker, the man who reinvented the position of linebacker, one of the most dominant and frightening men ever to play NFL football, first ballot NFL Hall of Famer, Dick Butkus. Twitter wasn't giving him a blue check. Dick Butkus is, he's like an 80-year-old man now, and he's getting into Twitter. Apparently, he's launching a podcast, which will be so good because I know that a lot of people don't really, they're not really familiar with Dick Butkus, other than he dabbled in movies and all that kind of stuff. But in Chicago, he's fairly high profile still, I mean, so what we know about Dick Butkus is that he's funny, and he takes no shit from nobody. He's like a kinder, what he is? He's Mike Ditka with wit. Like Mike Ditka is just kind of a bully and a loudmouth and do it my way. Well, Butkus is like that too, but Butkus has like more humor and wit about the way he carries himself. So Twitter wouldn't give him a blue check. And, Dick he just joined Twitter, and he's been saying, I don't know why they won't give me a blue check. This hurts my feelings. I have no idea. And then there was a big controversy in Chicago and Chicago sports media and all that about, is this really Dick Butkus? And then finally, the real Dick Butkus got on a radio show. He's like, it's me, and they won't give me a blue check. He linked to his IMDb page. He linked to his Hall of Fame, his NFL Hall of Fame speech. He gave all of this stuff to Twitter. And for some reason, they wouldn't blue check him. Well, he's trending today. Because Twitter blue check Dick Butkus today. He woke up this morning and he had his blue check and now he's trending. So good for Dick. Dick's a fun guy. He deserves our love and admiration. Unless, of course, you're a Packer fan. Then you shake at the very mention of his name. A Packer fan that's like 80. I don't think there's any Bear player that would make any Packer fan shake these days. But you know what I mean? Also along this line. Now, I saw this. This was on Fox News, and I saw the screen grab. But I said, that doesn't seem right. So I did a little research on my own, and I don't know what Fox News this morning was citing as their source for this. But the annual list of the NFL's drunkest fans has been released, and Fox News did it this morning as a story. And again, I don't know who they were citing as a source, because if you Google NFL's drunkest fans, there's like a million different sources with a million different, rankings, all that kind of stuff. So here we go. Here are, this year, according to Fox News, here are the NFL's drunkest fans. Number 5, the Green Bay Packers. I don't know how the Packers are number 5. That's all they do up there is drink and eat cheese. They lead America. Wisconsin leads America year after year in alcoholism and morbid obesity. That is like their thing. Cheese and booze. Everything about Milwaukee is about beer drinking. Everything about the middle of Wisconsin is about brandy and beer drinking. And all over the state, it's just endless amounts of cheese. Number 5 is the Packers. Number 4 is the Bears. Number 3 is the Bills. And number 2, drunkest fans in the NFL, the Ravens. Baltimore? Really? That one I don't get. I mean, I get the Packers, Bears, and Bills having the drunkest fans because it's very cold at those games. And, people think that drinking alcohol when it's cold will warm them up. It actually doesn't. It does the opposite thing. But that, Packers, Bears, and Bills fans are morons. So, let's be honest, they're just drinking to excess because it sucks being out in the cold. Packers, Bears, and Bills, I get. Ravens, I don't get. I don't understand why the Ravens would have the second drunkest fans in the NFL. And number one, if I didn't get the Ravens, I really don't get this one. The Bengals. Why are people in Cincinnati? Why are they the drunkest? Proximity to the Kentucky border, a lot of whiskey, a lot of moonshine, a lot of fans that, come with their homemade apple pie, in their little mason jars. I don't know. Bengals are 1, Ravens are 2, Bills are 3, Bears are 4, Packers are 5. According to Fox News this morning, those are your 5 drunkest fans in the NFL. Also trending, Japan is trending. There was a 6.4 earthquake there in southwest Japan. There appears to be no fear of a tsunami. It occurred in southwest Japan and was felt all over the little island. Is it a little island? It's a big island, right? I'm just being folksy. I don't know what the hell is. I guess Japan is pretty big until you look at China, and then you're like, Jesus, how the hell did Japan for all those years wage war against China? That doesn't seem. You got little bit Japan and then massive China, and here's the even weirder part. For much of their ongoing century-long war, Japan won. Japan kicked China's ass forever till World War II. Trending also locally, Dak is trending. Dak has been fined $25,000 for comments that he made after the game regarding referees. Just to bring it back to you, Dak after the game was told, what do you think of Cowboy fans throwing projectiles from the stands as players, and everybody left the field. And he said, well, it sucks. We're out there busting our butt for you, and I don't like it. I'm paraphrasing. This is exactly, he didn't say that sucks. Dak's a good guy. He was a little bit more eloquent. Then he was corrected, and another member of the press said, Dak, we believe that the object of the fans' scorn was actually the referees, to which Dak said, well, then all the credit in the world to them. All the credit. So Dak seemingly endorsed the bombarding of referees, NFL officials, with projectiles from the stands. He regretted it. He issued an apology a couple of days later. It seemed sincere. He talked about how he was caught up in the emotion and blah, blah, blah. Look, Dak Prescott, however angry you are about the events of last Sunday, man, I'm telling you, I'll take them. We'll take them. There are 20 other teams in the league that would take Dak Prescott. So just leave him alone. Leave him alone. It's going to be fine. He's a tremendous leader. Everybody in that locker room respects him. He just seems like a really good guy. He is exactly what you would want in a quarterback. And I'm not just talking about on the field play. I'm talking about the way he carries himself in the community. I'm talking about the way but he had a party during a lockdown. Oh, just stop. Just stop. Dak seems like a decent person. So Dak Prescott was fined $25,000 for basically endorsing the notion of fans throwing shit at referees. Bruce Arians, head coach of the Bucks, was also fined yesterday. He was fined $50,000, twice as much as Dak. Dak seemed to endorse the injuring of NFL referees and got fined $25,000. Bruce Arians, head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks, he got fined $50,000 for smacking a player in the head. The player was wearing a helmet. And, he ran on, if you saw the video, he ran out of there. He smacks a player across the side of the head with his head. He didn't punch it. He just went, boom. He smacked him in the side of the head. Dude was wearing a helmet. It was wearing a helmet. There was craziness going on. He smacked him in the head. $50,000 for that. It seems like maybe either they both should be $50,000 or they both should be $25,000. I don't know how one is twice monetarily as bad as the other. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, trending. Let's take a look at what's happening here. Crypto crash. Crypto. We're going down. We are going down, ladies and gentlemen. There is a Crypto crash in full effect right now. Let's see what's happening. Let's see where I am. All right. Oh, good Lord. You know what? I checked it like an hour ago, and it's gone down another 5. Crypto is down 10.49% today. It was down last week too. And then everybody came in and bought the dip, as they say. A lot of people flooded the market when it was going down, down, down. And it's going down, down, down again. Okay, so crypto crash in full effect. By the way, you can support the show with crypto, although honestly, cash is better. You can go to any one of those cool ass little sites there. You can just send me a whatever. I appreciate it. We keep the show going on your kindness and generosity. We have no advertisers. We don't want advertisers. We don't want to be able to, we want to be able to do whatever we want whenever we can. So, and like I said, we are moving towards very shortly with a couple of other projects that we're doing. We're going to move away from this listener funded kind of venture. But if you have it in you, if you have a couple extra bucks, we need to make X amount of dollars every month to pay for all this and be able to do this. So there you go. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. Thank you. That's all I'm going to say about it. And crypto, I take crypto. I take crypto on the Cash App. But again, crypto is crashing. And I can't buy groceries, and I can't pay I can't do any. I can't keep the subscriptions going. Can't do any of that with crypto. Actually, I probably can, but not with like $20 in crypto. And that's basically what I got. I am dipping my toe in crypto. No, I don't have a whole bunch, but I have enough so that I can see and sort of become accustomed to the volatility of what owning crypto is. And I'm perfectly comfortable with where I am. Although not really, because down 10% just in the last 24 hours, I don't dig that. Crypto crash. John Malkovich is trending. Malkovich. Why is he trending? Well, because he's shooting a movie in Italy and he got thrown out of his hotel, or I guess more to the point, he wasn't allowed to check into his hotel. Why? Who wouldn't want John Malkovich at their hotel? Well, apparently they have, we'll call them draconian COVID rules in Italy. And you have to have a COVID card that is updated fairly recently or regularly. And John Malkovich tried to check into his fancy-ancy hotel there in Italy, in the card that he presented, the American CDC, he's fully vaxxed, but they didn't accept it because apparently it had been too long since something or whatever. John Malkovich has been refused entry into a hotel in Italy after presenting an invalid, out-of-date COVID vaccination card. Malkovich is in Italy filming the forthcoming crime series Ripley's Game with Andrew Scott. The actor was supposed to be staying at the Hotel Danieli in Venice. According to Italian media, however, Malkovich was not allowed to check in after presenting a vaccination card that was out of date. A super green card is needed in Italy to provide proof of vaccination. To enter all indoor venues in the country, including restaurants, hotels, and public transportation. Vaccination passes are currently valid in Italy for 9 months after the date of the last dose, whether that is the second or third jab. The 68-year-old actor is expected to be in Venice for around a month, filming TV. You got to figure there's got to be like someplace. He can't. He's John Malkovich. They can't Airbnb him some like kick-ass penthouse or something, I don't know. All right, so that's why John Malkovich is trending. He's having some difficulty with his papers. Putin's poll is trending. Tell you why that is and what that means. Pictures and blueprints and layouts of Vladimir Putin's $1 billion summer stabbing cabin have been released. This isn't even his primary home. This is the $1 billion place when he just needs to get away from it all. When he just needs to, And designs and pictures have been leaked by some of Putin's opponents. And he's got a stripper pole. He's got a room. He's got a basically, he's got like a strip joint in one of the rooms. Leaked photographs have confirmed that the $1 billion luxury palace on the Black Sea, which was allegedly built for and by Vladimir Putin, has a pole dancing room an ornate theater, and a wine cellar. Well, first of all, I know people in Frisco who have what could be described as an ornate theater, and just about everybody's got a wine cellar these days. You don't have a wine cellar? But the pole dancing, and that's another thing too. You know, every skeevy Dallas attorney has a place with a pole in it. So, but it's weird. Is it weird though? I guess it's weird if we want to project these ideas that Putin is in some way, shape, or form a dignified world leader. He likes chicks. Putin likes, he likes whatever. The investigative team of Alexei Navalny, the jailed Russian opposition leader, first revealed details of the grand residence a year ago using computer-generated images based on blueprints and furniture catalogs to demonstrate what the interior looks like. At the time, the Kremlin and state media claimed the images were cartoons and fakes, but the cache of about 500 photographs now revealed from Putin's palace shows the mock-ups were accurate. So year ago, they said, this is what we've been able to figure out it looks like based on shit they've purchased and based on the layout, and we've hacked into the architecture's blueprints and all that kind of stuff. But now they actually released real pictures. And it was true. It was pretty much true. The pictures match up. The cache of about 500 photographs now revealed from Putin's palace show the mock-ups were accurate in their depiction of lavish fittings. Yeah, he's got a stage. So it's not just for like one stripper. He's got like a full stage. There's a pole. There's a bunch of pillows. Looks like there's a bunch of places to lay and relax. I gotta imagine, being Putin doesn't suck. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna end well. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know that Putin will die of old age with his grandchildren surrounding his death. I don't know if that's in the cards for him. Who knows? But I think it's more likely that within the next 10 years, they drag him out of there and they cut his head off, something like that. There's going to be some kind of popular uprising, but we'll see. We'll play it out. But in the meantime, if you know that that's looming, if you know that that is a real, you've seen Gaddafi. If you know that is a real possibility of how you're going to go out, why not have a stripper pole? Why not just go for it? Adele is trending. We talked about Adele the other day. Adele did that thing. She's doing a Vegas residency, and I guess she became the story that we reported the other day when she was trending was that her residency in Vegas at Caesars was to kick off this weekend, making her the highest paid artist in residency. Like ridiculous. I don't remember how much it was, but it was like almost $1 million a show. It was like $800,000 or something. And then she gets all the merchandising. And then, and she also gets free food at all the Caesars restaurants, which I thought was a very weird add-on, but okay. That was the story that was trending earlier in the week. Well, Adele is trending again because her Vegas residency has been postponed. Apparently, Adele, in a tearful Instagram, pleaded with her fans to be patient. She apologized for anybody that has tickets for the opening. I'm sure those tickets will be refunded. Just not ready. The show is just not ready. A tearful Adele was heard to be saying. So good for you. I like Adele. Adele seems cool. And talent. She's so talented. She's legit. But okay, Adele, get your shit together. Give me a call, and then I'll think about coming to see you. Although probably not. I see. Adele is like quickly going into the category of like the Cher, Barbara Streisand, Celine Dion. Someone I'm never gonna see. God, respect. Rolling in the Deep, great song. There's Adele's got a bunch of great songs that when I hear them on the radio, I'm like, yeah, this is good. I'm not going to go see it in concert. I don't need to see it in concert. John Voight is trending. John Voight's one of these dudes. I always talk about, folks, stop it. Stop canceling celebrities because it turns out in their personal life, they do things that you disagree with. Stop it. You got to be able to separate the artist from the art. The artist from the art. John Voight's one of those guys because he seems John Voight, his entire career has been a troublemaker on sets. People don't like to work with him. That's the artist. Okay. The artist of John Voight seems to be a troublemaker, seems to be a guy that doesn't get along with people very well. He's always been a bit of a hothead. Just ask his daughter. I mean, his own daughter, Angelina Jolie, she wanted nothing to do with him. But the art, Oh, now stop it. Stop it. Jon Voight can act, boy. That dude is an awesome, awesome actor. First of all, have you ever seen Ray Donovan? I mean, I can go through his whole list. Ray Donovan on Showtime, a terrific series starring Liev Schreiber. He plays Mickey Donovan. He plays the dirtbag dad of the lead character, and he is so good in that. So Jon Voight, separate the art from the artist. Why is he trending? He made a video today that a lot of people are shitting on him for. He released it. Apparently, he says that Donald Trump is the best president since Lincoln. We don't do politics here, so whatever. I don't know what that is, but everybody's shitting on Jon Voight, and that's why Jon Voight is trending. It's also, by the way, why Angelina is trending. Angelina Jolie is trending because she's getting dragged into it, and I'm sure she doesn't want to have anything to do with this stuff, but whatever. So there you go. Folks, please, stop it. Stop with the, I will never listen to another Michael Jackson song again. Oh, yes, you will. Yes, you will, and you will enjoy it. I don't care what you think was going on with Michael Jackson. That separate the art from the artist. It's easy to do. And you know what's not easy to do? Not do it. If you don't do it, then you're just like, I can't enjoy anything anymore. You know why? Because people are complicated. And just because someone does something, they create something, they're a content builder, they do something that brings joy to a lot of people, doesn't mean they have to be nice people in line at the 7-Eleven. They might be assholes in line at the 7-Eleven. It doesn't negate whatever joy or whatever coolness they created in the other aspects of their life. People are complicated. I hear that William Shakespeare was mean to pets. That's, he made his dog sleep outside in cold weather. I still enjoy Shakespeare. I studied Shakespeare in both high school and in college because I thought I refused to see any plays. I mean, I don't. Oh, hast thou thine in the night sky? I don't even know what the hell they are saying. But I did recognize the influence on art and culture and all of that stuff that Shakespeare had. Interesting guy. You were either back then, you were either on Team Shakespeare or you were on Team Christopher Marlowe. It depended. They were the Rolling Stones and the Beatles of their era. And it seems to me like William Shakespeare has been the one that stood the test of time. Jim Belushi is trending. Jim Belushi. I got a funny Jim Belushi story. I like Jim. First of all, I love John Belushi. John Belushi was like the first celebrity death that my little 9-year-old, 10-year-old ass went, no. John Belushi was funny, boy. And then Jim Belushi came along, and unfortunately, when your big brother is a cultural icon who dies super early before could you imagine if John Belushi was still alive? First of all, I don't think he would still be alive, no matter what. I mean, he lived around. But imagine what he would have done. I mean, Pugs, you could say that with anybody. Well, yeah, I guess you can. But I liked John Belushi so much. Everything, even the stuff that people didn't like that he did, like the movie Continental Divide. I love the movie Continental Divide. The movie Neighbors. I love the movie Neighbors. I love everything that guy did. And then he died, and his little brother, Jim Belushi, was like, I want to do movies too. And so Jim Belushi sort of benefited, certainly, from having the last name. But he was always, in my opinion, sort of unfairly denigrated because he wasn't his dead brother, which has got to be tough. And so, Jim Belushi's career never really rose to the A-list box office sensation that his brother was. But hey, who wouldn't trade their career? Jim Belushi's had a great career. Why is he trending today? He's got a new show, and he's doing the rounds to promote it. The new show is called Growing Belushi. And if you follow Jim Belushi on Twitter, you'll know this guy. He's a weed grower, man. Jim Belushi is in the weed business. And he's like a big player in the weed. All third-rate celebrities now have crypto. It's like, hey, I used to be in 98 Degrees, and now you can buy my crypto. It's like everybody is doing that. and weed too, like a lot of like other. Jim Belushi is actually, he's got a very growing, and within the weed community, man, Jim Belushi's got, some stroke. He's doing some big things, and he's got this show that is sort of documenting all the stuff that he's doing. Jim Belushi is going around doing interviews about the show Growing Belushi. I like his Twitter and Instagram posts where he just opens a box and shows the buds that he's growing. It's like, oh, that looks good. That looks really good. I mean, I've been abstaining now for the last 9 months, but I can still, it's like looking at pictures of food when you're on a diet. It's like, oh boy, look at the purple in that. Oh my God, the colors. Okay, so my Jim Belushi story. On the morning show that I used to produce in Chicago, which is, where Jim and John and the Belushi families are from. We could never really get the big ones, but there was always room for a stray brother. There was always room for a stray brother or a stray sister who had something they wanted to promote. So, whether you were a Belushi, whether you were one of Bill Murray's 30 brothers or sisters, whether you were a Farley, somehow related to Chris, we always had time for a sibling of one of those people. And a regular on our show was her name Mary? I don't even remember her name now. She was John Belushi's sister, John and Jim Belushi's sister. And she was kind of, she was a psychic, and she would go on local radio and she'd go on TV, and she built herself this nice little local client base of people who wanted to have their cards read by Jim and John Belushi's sister. And we used to promote her on her show. She'd come up and she'd do the card readings, and she was all right. I mean, I'm skeptical of that stuff anyway. And I always thought, well, she got to do something, right? I mean, she may as well cash in on her very recognizable last name, especially in the Chicago area. I mean, there ain't many Belushis. And, so she would say crazy things. And the guy that she was married to was so sketchy. So freaking sketchy. Like, she would be in the studio doing the interview, and her husband would be in the producer booth with us, and all he did was name drop. All he did, and he name dropped with people like Bill Murray. Wasn't Bill Murray? It was Billy. Well, Billy says, I'm like, dude, you're just some motorcycle mechanic who married the weird, almost con woman sister of Jim and John. What are you talking about? Bill Murray isn't your friend. Well, Billy and I, it's funny. Whenever Danny comes into town, we always like to go grab a hot dog and listen to blues music. No, you don't. So at some point, we got message, the production team, that Jim Belushi didn't want his sister going on the radio anymore. So we were asked to stop booking their sister because Jim Belushi was he'd had enough of it. He was embarrassed. And we didn't listen to it. It wasn't a big deal. It was like, whatever, we're going to keep having her on because it's funny and it's interesting. And, why not? It's a good segment. She comes in and reads the cards of people. She would read the cards of conveniently for her psychic ability allowed her to read the cards of callers. most of the time when you get your cards read, I think you have to be one-on-one. There has to be some sort of energy and contact. But no. It just so happened that this woman could read the cards of just rando callers. So we get a call in the office one day. And I pick up the phone, and I'm like, Kevin Matthews Show. And this guy on the voice goes, yeah, this is Jim Belushi. Who's this? And I'm like, hey, Mr. Belushi, this is Kevin Matthews Show. I'm one of his producers. How can I help you, sir? You people have been asked 12 times to stop booking my crazy sister. We still didn't stop. But that's my Jim Belushi story. Where I was like, hold on, Mr. Belushi. Let me put you on the phone with our exec producer. Jim Belushi's on the phone, and he's really mad, and he's yelling at me. I don't want Jim Belushi yelling at me. Somebody take this phone. So And I don't know, it stopped. We kept having her. I don't think that shook us. I think it would have taken Jim Belushi showing up on our show and pledging to be a guest that would fill the spot of her. That would get us to. But yeah, we didn't do it. So Jim Belushi's trending. Jim Belushi's cool. I like Jim Belushi. Ozark is trending. Are you a fan of Ozark? Ozark is the Netflix show starring Jason Bateman, Laura Linney as Marty and Wendy Bird. I forgot their name. Ozark is back. It's up today. It's been trending now for 48 hours. I love Ozark. Ozark is such a great show. I envy you if you're unfamiliar with Ozark because the fourth and final season is posting. The first half of the final season, 7 episodes posted today. So it's there. It's available for you. And then the second half, the final 7 episodes of season 4, they're going to post on Netflix at some later date. They're probably going to make us wait. It says later in 2022. So I imagine probably towards the end of summer, we'll get to see the final 7 episodes. But if you've never seen Ozark and you're like, there is nothing to watch. Oh, yeah, there is. There's you know what? Just I'll make a list. There are things for you to. There are great things for you to watch. There are things that are out there, bingeable for you. That like I say, I have nothing. I'm so envious because there are so. I mean, honestly, you could watch The Boys on Amazon Prime. You could watch 3 seasons. Maybe it's just 2. Whatever. You could binge watch The Boys. I'm re-binge watching Justified now, just because I wanted to watch that show again because they're making a new version of Justified, and I'm like, well, I need to remember what all happened in the first one. Ozark is one of those shows. If you've never watched Ozark, and by the way, the end of season 3, the final episode of season 3 is just never saw that coming. I mean, the way the last season of Ozark ended was so cool. I was like, oh man, how long am I going to have to wait now to see what happens next? Because that was insane. Never saw that ending coming. So tonight, when I start to watch the last 7 episodes, I'll probably get through all. I got my kid this weekend. I probably won't get through. I'll probably get through 2 or 3. It's so hard to enjoy, content when the kid's here. It's just these. It's wonderful. Don't get me wrong. That sounds bad. Boy, Pugs would rather be alone binge watching Netflix than spending time with his lovely 12-year-old son. That's not true. But I'm going to have to watch the final episode of season. I do this anyway. Whenever a new season posts, and it's been a couple of years, I always like to watch the final episode of the previous season and then roll directly in to the new season. So even though I know what's coming at the end of season 3, I still need to be brought up to speed with all the minutia. All right, that's there's Rank These is trending. That's another thing that's trending. Do we want to talk about this? They basically give you a bunch of movies, funny movies from the 19 aughts, not 19, the 2000s, 2010s, whatever it is. And then they're asking everybody to rank these movies in order. So I will give you my order. Okay. My order is number 5, The Wedding Crashers. Number 4, Superbad. Number 3, 40-Year-Old Version. Number 2, The Hangover. And number 1, Step Brothers. That's it. They just randomly show you those movies and say rank them in order. Step Brothers is by far the best of all of them, and Wedding Crashers is by far the least best of all of them, although they're all enjoyable. So there you go. Rank These is trending. All right, so it's 1:30. We're going to cut the show a little bit short today, so I'm going to delve into the chat room. We're going to see what you guys have been talking about and what all I've missed. But quickly, before we do that, let's see if there's anything new that is trending that I missed, anything that's happened in the last 90 minutes. Still got Meatloaf trending. No, this is new. Nick Jonas is trending. We are overjoyed to confirm that we have welcomed a baby, Nick Jonas, and his wife, I guess, Priyanka Chopra. I don't know who she is. I'm guessing she's beautiful. When We Were Young Fest is trending again. That's the emo Bonnaroo or whatever that was trending earlier in the week. I don't know why it's trending again. Fans desperately try to get a hold of tickets for the When We Were Young festival. There you go. Ozark still trending. Someone named West Elm Caleb. I don't know. He's an Instagram or TikTok guy. I don't spend any time on that. Step Brothers is trending. Step Brothers is trending because of that rank these thing. And I agree. Step Brothers should be number one, and it's trending. John Voight is still trending. The Texans have completed an interview with Josh McCown for their vacant head coaching position. Citizens United. M&M's is still trending. M&M's is still holding strong. We talked about M&M's yesterday. M&M's are, listen to yesterday's show, but M&M's is turning their anthropomorphic candies that they use in the campaign. They're turning them into symbols of wokeness or whatever. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Ooh, Sidney Powell is trending. See, that's the lawyer lady who like lives down the block. She was like the one. She's like the QAnon lawyer. She lives down the block. Let's see, why is she trending? Hold on. She's totally yeah, it doesn't matter. Divisive crowd. What did you think, Pugs? Did you think there was going to be some wonderfully unifying reason that Sidney Powell was No, I guess I didn't. Apparently Penny Hardaway, head coach of Memphis Tigers. You remember Penny Hardaway, NBA standout. Injuries, but man, was he great. Apparently he got into it during a press conference today. Lincoln is okay. There's nothing. There's no reason. Okay, so that's about it. All right, so let's jump into the chat room. Let me see what I've missed. Let me see what y'all have been talking about while I've been prattling on and on this beautiful Friday. Remember, I got to get the hell out of here a little bit early because if you remember yesterday during the show, my kid called in the middle of the show. And here's what I think. He knows when I do the shows because he occasionally watches. He knows when the shows are. He knows when High Noon airs and he knows when Pillow Talk airs. So when he calls during the show, I think he does it on purpose, you know. But yesterday we had breaking family news. There was breaking news that altered the plans for our weekend that had to be handled. So, you remember yesterday when I had to sign off for a minute and just kind of handle whatever was going on with him. So because of that breaking family news, which is none of your business, here's what you need to know. Everybody is safe. There is no problem. There is just something that happened that is now going to change the regular plan of what time I pick him up. I got to pick him up earlier today. That's basically it. Pugs, you said you weren't going to say because it's none of their business. Well, I didn't say specifically. I just said what it was all about. All right, let's look into the chat room. Let's see here. Oh, boy, I'm not looking forward to this. Oh, again, if you want to hear my thoughts on the big breaking media story, the local Dallas radio story, I have no want or desire to talk about that publicly. It is not something that I did last night. I talked a little bit about it last night. If you want to go to pugscast.com, you can find last evening's Pillow Talk show. You'll know it when you're scrolling through because I was wearing a hideously ugly sweater. You can find that. And if you go to like the last half hour, I don't necessarily discuss any names and I don't discuss details, but I tried to give you, the fair listener, some sort of idea about what it is that I was feeling, how I was processing it, how I was handling it. So you can do that. That's pretty much all we're going to say on that regarding the local radio personality who made the news yesterday. Someone I used to work with. So don't do it, Pugs. No, you're right. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go into it. All right, let's see here. Meatloaf died, says my man Kojak. It's so nice to see Kojak. I mean, he's probably gone now, but he was here earlier. Miss Kojak. Kojak's crazy. One of the most generous and kind dudes there is. Let's see here. Emily, good Lord, I'm here. Yes, you are, Emily. You've been missed. Emily hasn't been. I get so panicked when some of you drop off, and I know that you have other jobs, and I know that you have responsibilities, and that this stupid little thing can't take precedent over dozens of other things that are in your life. But when somebody seems to be missing for a day or two, I start to go, oh, I don't want to make them mad. Oh, they hate me now because I internalize everything and I'm a dramatic fool. April is there. April's always there. Love it. April says that we should Google the program. Not going there, April. Schwartzy, can we get into the weird coincidence that Meatloaf and Louis Anderson died on the same day? I tell you, Schwartzy's one of my best friends, and there is nobody that I enjoy talking to or just having a conversation with quite like Dallas's premier plastic surgeon, Dr. Robert Schwartz. Yes, it is interesting that a very heavy set comedian died on the same day as me. That is interesting. Let's see. Someone tell me. Oh, Emily didn't know what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the local radio personality. And then a whole bunch of people saying the name in the chat room. Emily says, was that the person who went with us to Cancun? Yeah, it was. It was. And I told a story about how he and I got a taxi cab. We met a couple of girls and we got a taxi cab and we had driven into the jungles of Mexico seeking weed. And we thought we were going to die. And funny. Boy, that's funny how I still laugh about that and how fucking betrayed I feel about even having that memory. We will move on. We will move on. Jeff Clinton talking about Mac Davis. It was Mac Davis's birthday today. Mac Davis says, Mac Davis found it hard to be humble. Was that Mac Davis? Was that his song? Was that because I struggle to remember why Mac Davis was famous. I know he was always on TV and he appeared in a bunch of movies and I really liked him as a little kid. I don't know what it was about Mac Davis, but you had your Glenn Campbells, you had your Mac Davis. I was a Mac Davis guy. I liked Mac Davis. Although I watched that really sad documentary about Glenn Campbell. And now I really like Glenn Campbell too. Your Chris Christophersons. I was a big Christopherson guy. That guy, boy, oh boy. We talk about a life lived. When Chris Christopherson dies, I'll do a whole hour on why you people didn't know the real Chris Christopherson. That dude is a baller in every sense of the word. But luckily, Chris Christopherson is fine. But yeah, there was like three of them. There was Glenn Campbell, Chris Christopherson, and Mac Davis, who just popped up on TV all the time back then. Mac Davis was best friends with Glenn Campbell, and Mac's wife left him for Glenn Campbell, Jennifer Blair Martin says. Really? Okay. I'm just going to avoid all of the other stuff. Kevin Barber says it was Billy Ocean's birthday. Caribbean Queen. Kevin Barber reminds us that there is a Caribbean Queen sequence in Reno 911, The Search for Q. I still haven't seen that. I still haven't seen Reno 911 Search for Q. And Ed, my man Ed, if there is any way that you can find a way for me to be able to see that, please. I am desperate. My son and I want to watch the Reno 911 Search for Q because I've exposed him the last couple of months to Reno 911. We used to watch, we worked through all the seasons of What We Do in the Shadows, and that was like our show, and we love that show, and oh my God, we do lines back and forth from What We Do in the Shadows, but then that ended. We're all caught up. We're waiting on the new season, and I was looking for something else that sort of fit mine and his sense of humor, so I introduced him to Reno 911, and so we started watching a couple episodes of that. So I really want to see the movie Reno 911 Search for Q. So if there's any way anybody can get me to see that. Okay, Ross Rubio also says that in addition to Caribbean Queen, Billy Ocean also had Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car. Yeah, you're right. He did. He had more than one hit. My apology. Same song. I mean, Caribbean Queen, get into my car. It's like the same song. It's like, okay, whatever. Hey, good for you, man. If you could cut the same song 10 times and have it be a moneymaker each time, I don't care. Good for you. Rob Barr. He points out, we were talking about Robbie Benson. It was his birthday as well. Rob Barr points out that Robbie is husband to Carla DeVito. He must have said that before I said that. Who sang from Bat Out of Hell. Yeah. Yeah, and she's from Mokina. There you go. Rob Barr, another guy who's from the area. Actually, Rob is directly from Mokina. He's from, that's the town over from where we're from. But that's where Robbie Benson and Carla DeVito live to this day. And now Channel 9 is telling me there's more Billy Ocean hits. When the going gets tough, the tough get tough. When the going gets rough, the tough get rough. I guess he had more than one hit. Boy, on the ride today with my kid, we're gonna have to check out. We're going to have to check out Meatloaf. I'm going to have to revisit that. I'm going to say, hey, this guy died today. What do we think? And then we'll listen to that. And then I guess maybe I'm going to jump into some Billy Ocean. I mean, there would never, I would never, I mean, it seems like if I'm ever going to revisit Billy Ocean's catalog, it would be today because I'm sitting here singing these songs. Let's see here. No. Byron says he ran into Michael Irvin in a Mesquite bar. In like Mesquite. Oh no, I'm sorry. He ran into Michael Irvin in a Mesquite 7-Eleven in like 97. He denied being himself. Had a diamond 88 necklace. Don't be a dick. Don't. You know what? Not you, Byron. Michael Irvin. You know what? You stop into the 7-Eleven and somebody goes, hey, Playmaker, what's happening? Just go, what's up, brother? Thank you. And then just leave. That's one of the spoils of being a celebrity that people are excited to see. You don't have to sit and hang out with them, but you need to acknowledge that they are a fan. What a dick. I've had run-ins with Michael Irvin too, and I'll say it again. What a dick. Just a dick. Greatest radio moment that I've ever heard was when my good friend Big Dick Hunter had Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin in studio, and Dick basically tore their behavior, the way their public perception, the way they act around town, just tore them down to their faces about how they behaved. And these two guys, first of all, Dick Hunter, for those of you who know, brilliant, absolutely brilliant guy. Should have been an attorney. He could be one of the great attorneys in American history with the way he's able to frame an argument and then get you to walk into a trap. He is so good. And he was just destroying Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders. And they did not have the good sense to recognize that they were intellectually overmatched. They allowed their ego and their narcissism to just decide, hey man, let's get this guy. And so they started arguing back with him, and it just got progressively worse and worse and worse for these guys. And the beautiful part of this radio interview, and oh my God, I got to hear this now. I would love to, I bet you Dick's got it. I should reach out to Dick and say, can you send me a copy of that? I'd like to play that on Pillow Talk because it's so much fun. It came to a point where I believe Michael Irvin started to realize that the more we argue with this guy, the worse he makes us seem. And Michael Irvin, in the interview, began to try and end it, to try and get Deion to leave. But Deion Sanders' ego would not allow him to. So it's like that. Now they're arguing between the two of them. No, man, don't tell me what I'm arguing with this fool. This fool don't know. And then it just got worse and worse. And Michael's, come on, Deion. Come on, man. Let's end it. Come on, Deion. All right, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. All right, come on, Deion. Let's get out of here. No, man, don't you tell. Just beautiful. It was on the ticket. It's probably on the ticket like, I don't know, 20 years ago now. It was so beautiful. All right. Let's see. A lot of people talking about the Rocky Horror Picture Show because of the passing of Meatloaf. Yes, he played Eddie in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Byron says, Louis, the death of Louis Anderson today, that stings. He was great. and great appearing to be a decent person. Yeah, Louis Anderson seemed like a good guy. Louis Anderson weighed close to 400 pounds, and he lived to be almost 70. I think we should just be thankful for that, says Jeff. Doug, my man Kojak, says tragedies come in threes. That's absolutely true. So who's next to die today? Well, that's what I think. I think that they do happen in threes. I think we had Yvette Mumu, who died a couple of days ago. So it's Yvette Mumu, Meatloaf, and Louis Anderson. I think that's the trifecta for this death trilogy. Byron says, I'm not even down for saying Coachella. Yeah, I have no interest in going to, but I'm too old and whatever. And then this is where Schwartz and I started to argue about whether or not we saw the Strokes together. I think we may have. I don't vividly recall that. Apparently he didn't wine and dine me sufficiently because, but it does sound, I thought I saw him in Chicago, but I guess that timeline would have had me here. So it is possible. Jeff Glenn, we were talking about HBO Max. He says the interface for HBO Max is awful. I don't know. Are you watching it on a smart TV? Because I watch all of my television on laptops or pads. And I actually really like the HBO. I love the HBO Max interface. I mean, I really do. I would put it as... Netflix sort of set the standard. They were like the first, but then I would say HBO Max is the second one. But again, I watch it all on an app on my TV, on my screen, on my laptops and stuff. The worst one, can we at least agree that the worst one is Prime? I absolutely despise the interface on Prime. That is that Amazon Prime sucks. Amazon Prime, every time I go to Amazon Prime, it's like, oh, this looks good. I want to see it. And I click on it. It's like, and you can for $11. I'm like, what the hell am I paying for this for? How do I? And then you got to go up to the top and you got to click on the free to me icon. And that'll give you, Amazon is always working an extra buck from me. And I don't like that. I'm not fun. Adam Morena points out that Japan fought Russia and won. Yeah, but that was pre-Soviet build-up Russia. Yeah, you're right. Japan, man, Japan's tough. Japan has always been tough. That's why we took all their guns away from them after World War II. We were like, all right, we nuked you, and here's the thing. You can be our friends now because you're a very strategic landmass in an area that we would love to have some sort of influence. So you're going to be our friends, and you cannot have an army ever again, Japanese. And that's where they are now. That's why there's so many American military bases in Japan and all that kind of stuff, because we don't let them have things that go boom. Let's see. It's good the Putin pictures did not get leaked during the Trump years. Otherwise, the White House would have a stripper pole. Who's to say the White House doesn't? Bill Clinton was in that office for 8 years. You telling me you don't think there's a possibility there's a stripper pole somewhere in the basement? Sorry. I skip over some of the comments because I don't quickly understand what they're in reference to. Rob Barr says, who was the McDonald's worker that turned into a porn star? Think it was Orland Park McDonald's. It was. And our mutual friend Frank worked with her for years. However, I worked with her for about 2 weeks because I only worked at McDonald's because I wanted a paycheck. That's right, a paycheck. I wanted one paycheck. I needed to make a quick $50. And so I worked at McDonald's for 1 week. And then I was like, this is brutal. It's open. All my friends can see me back here. This is not good for the brand. This is not good. So I got out of it. But yes, but I did also go to high school with her for 4 years. or 3 years, because she was a year older than me. Her name was, do I need a real, I mean, I don't want to give her a real, well, who cares? Her real name is Debbie Bauer, but her porn star name was, and this is like late 80s, 90s. And like none of us knew, none of us knew that Debbie Bauer from high school had turned into a big porn. She was a big Tara Hart. Tara Hart was her name. You just go look her up. Anyway, yeah. So that was her. That was our girl. So Rob, you're right. Yeah, we had a local McDonald's girl who went out to Hollywood and made it big. She was really pretty too. She was like a burnout. She was like, yeah, man, she's like a burnout girl from like the wrong side of the tracks, but she was really pretty. She was always really pretty. So didn't really surprise any of us. Oh, but you want to know the weird thing about it? Her brothers, my friend was an acquaintance with her brothers, and her brothers had a plumbing company, or they were plumbers. And the whole way that we all found out that she was a porn star, and this is probably like the mid 90s, the whole way that we found out she was a porn star was because the brothers came over to fix my friend's family's pipes, and they were just bragging about it. They were like, yeah, hey, you know what Debbie's doing now? It's like what? And we thought it was so curious that like the brothers, they seemed like they had watched, they seemed like they were familiar with her body of work. And yeah, it was just weird, but that's how we all found out. Thank you for reminding me of that, Rob. That was weird. Amazon. Okay, so now we're getting into the more recent stuff. The HBO Max interface was awful until a couple of months ago. It was okay. Then it got really bad about a year ago, and then they finally fixed it. I don't know, Tartan Sauce. I don't know. I've never had a problem with the HBO Max interface. I like it. What I really like about the HBO Max interface is that if you scroll down just like 3 columns, you get to the just added. And that's really all I care about. I don't want to, I feel like I know everything that's available to me. Don't do the whole, we've picked these just for you. But nah, shut up. Yeah, you don't know me. You don't know me. But the just added column on HBO Max, I love that. I check that every day. HBO Max just added. Ooh, I'll see that. Like with Netflix, you have to go all the way up to the top column and you have to click new or recently added, and then a whole nother page comes up. Amazon Prime, forget it. Forget about Amazon Prime. Look at this. Legendary rock singer Meatloaf dies, and they're showing on CNN him singing with Carla DeVito, who we were just talking about, wife of Robbie Benson. I could talk digital streaming service interfaces all day long. I have some very, very good hot takes. I won't bore you with it here, though. Let's see here. Okay, a lot of people saying that Reno 911 Search for Q is available on Paramount Plus. Oh, thank you. Okay. Amazon, Tartan Sauce says, Amazon at least puts the Prime banners on the movies that are free. Just look for those when browsing. The problem is that Amazon Prime has so much content. And you know what? They also have like a bunch of sketchy content. Like I like to delve into the Amazon Prime documentary section because they've just got thousands and thousands of documentaries on everything. And I'll see something, I'll go, oh, that documentary looks good. And, the box cover or the picture that they show that depicts it makes it look like it's something I might watch. And then I'll click on it and it's just awful. It's like some documentary from 1975 and it's grainy. Now CNN is mourning the loss of Louis Anderson. 68. Louis Anderson was 68. We were trying to figure out how old he was. Meatloaf was 74, Louis Anderson 68. Let's see, what else do we have here? Adam says the Chromecast app, it depends on how you watch. The Chromecast apps seem to be better to me than TiVo and Amazon Fire. Okay. I got no problems. Like I said, if I was to rate the streaming services, I would go number one. Number one is Netflix because they're sort of the industry standard. That's the one we all got used to first. So, And then number 2 would be HBO Max for me. Number 3 would be Disney Plus does a good job. I like Disney Plus. Then Hulu. Hulu I don't love. Amazon Prime is infuriating. And then the absolute worst is ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus, their interface is just garbage. At least the way I consume it. Jennifer says, Kings of Cons on Discovery Plus is a wild documentary. I've never heard of that. Kings of Cons. I've never heard of that, but if you say it's wild, I will check it out because I love that stuff. I will watch. Here's the thing. I like to watch real documentaries though, like documentary films. I'm not so crazy about documentary series, although there are exceptions. Like there are certain documentary series that I will enjoy and that I do enjoy. There we go. Sorry. You know what I'm doing. Yeah, I'm queuing up the boy. Look at me. I have got my poetry. I have got my songs. To see me through the lonely nights. We are going to, at some point, break down the lyrics of John Hinckley's songs. We are. We're going to figure out exactly what he's going at. We don't have time to do it now. But we will at some point. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. I'm so glad you guys joined us. Remember, the next show will be on Monday at noon. We'll do a high noon show on Monday, and then we kick off the week Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights. We also give you a pillow talk version of Pugs and Parker. Please support the show if you can. We're getting down to that end of the month where we start to get desperate. So if you can support in any way possible, we'd appreciate that. You can do it right there. And as I say, we're going away with that. That's going to probably be ending, hopefully, within the next... it is my hope that this is the last month that we'll need to try and raise money. So you guys will be the ones who have gotten us to the point where we don't need to do it anymore. And how is that? Well, Pugs, how is that? What, have you just been pocketing all this money and now you're just... No. It's just that I have other projects that I'm working on that are going to then, pay me for my actual services so that I can then still do this show and, just be free of charge, whatever. I mean, I'd still accept tips. I'm not going to be stupid, but there will be no sense of urgency to keep the show going. So however you feel about that, way. Whoa. All right, seriously though, I gotta go. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I gotta go grocery shopping. I gotta pick up my kid. I gotta clean up around here a little bit. I have to vacuum. Luckily, I live in a shoebox, basically, so there's not a whole lot of cleaning that needs to be done. We'll see you on Monday, high noon. Go Bills! This is gonna be a fun weekend of football. All the boys. Oh, I'm so looking forward to this week of football. All the boys are here. We got me. We got my boy Mace. We got Sunglasses. We got Sunglasses boys Dom. We're all on Team Bills. KC, screw you. We are going to yell so loudly that the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs, who lives right down the block, is probably going to hear us and call the cops. We are so excited. Sunday night. I can't do this. Love you guys. Gotta go. Got stuff to accomplish. Have a great weekend. And don't die. Everybody's dying. Don't die. I can smile a little now. Things are going good. I always had to be on guard. That is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest.